Here are some tips for engaging your audiences. Do's and don'ts from Doreen Marchionni, who spoke at a news train in Tacoma, Washington in February 2010.
My research is on journalism as a conversation, basically journalists using their audiences to inform their coverage, collaborating with their audiences. And I would say one thing that's really critical, particularly for newspaper people, for print people, is that they use video with their stories. Let's say maybe a 1-minute or shorter video, a biographical video of their journalists who covered a story. Putting that video out there really is a powerful way of conveying the person behind the news. It really puts flesh and blood to the journalist, and audiences respond very positively to that. I would say the second thing is news organizations are now doing a good job of inviting the audience to collaborate with them through photo sharing or whatever to help flesh out a story, to tell a better story, a more important story. Unfortunately, news organizations are not then telling the audience that they actually participated and helped the journalist with that story. So if you're going to invite the audience to help you with your story, tell the audience, even in an editor's note on the top of a story or within a story, that ordinary people informed that coverage. You got to tell them explicitly, almost banging over their heads. And then I'd say maybe the third thing is, this might be obvious, but your online news audiences, let's say that critical age bracket, people between 18 and 34 years of age, they are assuming that you mainstream journalists use and understand social media tools, crowdsourcing tools like Twitter or Flickr or Tumblr. They assume you're using it. So if you're not using it, you ought to be using these tools to bring more voices into your coverage and telling your audience that you're using these tools because, one, your audiences get them, and two, maybe most importantly, they respond very positively to stories derived from these tools in terms of perceived credibility and expertise.
Yeah, I think the easiest thing to quickly put to use from her presentation was having our staff do video bios of themselves, something that's maybe less than a minute. And I really liked what she did about, she would have someone introduce themselves and then a quick question would come up on the screen. What made you interested in journalism? Or maybe in our case, why are you writing for the broadside? And just let them talk just a little bit about why they're there. I think that's going to help our credibility with people at the college, students, and I think it'll also recruit more writers for our student newspaper, actually.
The impact of humanizing our staff, I think, really increases our accessibility, and I think it also increases our connection with the people out there and how that opens up doors for them to come talk to us.
Well, a lot of what she said we're already doing in our newsroom, but it was nice to know that what appears to be common sense has some empirical data behind it, and that it does make a difference when we choose to respect our audience and to connect with them and to show them that we are human beings providing a public service for them.